Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster.
All right. Welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And we have the last lady standing from the Mad Backyard that just finished up this past weekend. Actually finished with 133 miles, set the new course record at the Backyard. And what's cool is to see how many podiums she's already had in the 2.5, 3 year span of ultras, it looks like here. Actually, first really got to see Ashley racing in Firewater 100. Yep. Matt didn't really get to see her racing.
I watched her. I went there as we went by.
Matt was running the 50K, but I was the cameraman out there. I'm not a very good cameraman, but I was trying to keep up with everybody, and I saw Ashley, and she just was doing amazing out there on the course. She ended up finishing first female and second overall in that race, had a really great performance. Mm-hmm. And from there, we've kind of followed her a little bit. So when we saw that she signed up for MAD, we thought that was kind of fun to see how she was going to do out there. And to no surprise, she did great. So Ashley, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into running.
So I grew up in rural Missouri. Grew up outside, hunting, fishing, gardening, pretty much just like doing all the normal kid things every summer. I wasn't really an athletic kid until, I wasn't in organized sports until around middle school when there was the presidential fitness test, and I heard the word test, and I kind of panicked, and I said, Dad, I need to train so that I can get an A on this test. And so my dad said, okay, let's do it. And my parents weren't runners, but they were like lifters and, really into fitness. So my dad helped me train. I remember my first mile on the treadmill was like a 12:36 or something like that. I wrote it down in my journal. And, after that, I got into junior high and high school and, was good at track. I was a sprinter in middle school, and then just gradually kept adding distance. I was 200, 400, my freshman and sophomore year. I was more on the 400 my junior year, and then my coach convinced me to run the 800 my senior year, and I was not really thrilled about it, but I was good at it. And so I got to where I really liked it. I ran cross country my junior and senior year, not really taking it seriously until my senior year. And then I really started to enjoy it when I think I started getting a little more competitive. And I really enjoyed the team atmosphere of it. I enjoyed, I was a really small school, so I enjoyed the group that we had. And I enjoyed my coach a lot. My coach was my art teacher, my cross-country coach. So we were already really tight. But then after that, I went to college at Missouri State. And I was okay with running just being purely recreational. I was all about the academics once again. And then it got around to March, and I really missed it, and I wasn't really making any friends, and no one wanted to run with me. So I just cold emailed the coach and I said, do you ever take walk-ons? And he gave me a chance, and I got an opportunity, and I worked really hard, and I ran until 2023 is when I graduated. And then after that, started doing ultras.
And that was where?
At Missouri State University in Springfield.
That's awesome. Well, how did you do during that college season?
It was good. I, for the most part, was just really happy to be there. I dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome for those first couple years. I got injured my sophomore year. And then it was really like end of my junior year and throughout my senior year that I felt like I was really contributing at the conference level, and was like a leader on the team. As far as times go, like, gosh, the kids nowadays are so fast that like my times are just so mid. Like there's so many high schoolers that are so much faster than me, but I was like decently competitive at the meets that we went to. So, and I think I was a good workout buddy, at least. I think I was a good training partner.
Well, you know what I love the most about that entire story is that you actually had the guts to pick up the phone and call and ask. That is like 90% of the battle sometimes, is just even throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for doing that. That shows that you actually have guts, and you may not act like it, but that kind of means you have at least a little bit of confidence. And that's the thing. It's like, if you have a little bit of self-confidence, it can go a long way, especially in your running career and ultra running, because to do what we do, you have to have I've always said this, you have to have like a little bit of swagger. You have to be the one that's like, I mean, I'm going to run 100 miles. Because if you don't think that, you're not going to run 100 miles. And, you know, that's a good thing. So like, to hear you say that, I think is really cool, because how old were you at that time?
I would have been 19.
Okay. So a 19-year-old that has enough guts to pick up a phone and call a head coach and say, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like, that's awesome. I think that's really cool.
Thanks.
You're probably more nervous being on this podcast than you were making that phone call.
I do remember like pressing send on that email, and like I was nervous, but I knew like the worst that could happen is I would just get no reply or no. Like he wasn't gonna like come to my house, say that my haircut was ugly. Like I just like I knew that I could handle a no or no response. I knew I would figure something else out. So I just knew that I either had to try and fail, or, you know,
did you have
maybe
to
succeed.
go there? Did you have to go there and talk with him, or did you all talk over the phone? Or
yeah, so I sent the email, and believe it or not, he had been a walk-on himself, not quite in the untraditional way that I was, but I think that's why he was so willing to give me a chance. And I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, we ended up meeting, and he asked me about some of my times and some of my training. And at the time, the team was like still kind of developing. I think he was maybe in his 4th or 5th year as head coach. And so he had me like come watch a few workouts, and then eventually he was just like, you know, here, fill out this paperwork, let's get a physical, and then you can come to practice. And I remember I was so eager. I was like, can I do strides today? Like, and he was like, no, like ease into it. And that first week he was like, you know, run maybe like 15 to 20 miles. And I had never like tracked my mileage before. We always ran for time in high school. And I think that first week I ran like 35 because I was just so happy to be on a team. And everyone's like, you should like back off a little bit. I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just like so happy to be here. And yeah, it was really kind of him to give me a chance like that. He was, it was really special. So
that's awesome.
Good.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. So what did you run in college? You run the 400 and the 800?
He kind of gave me the choice. The line between like the sprints coach, and he was the distance coach, obviously. He was like, you know, we kind of have some that are like 400 and below or 800 and above. So what do you want to go with? And I said, I have more experience in the 4, but I think I have more potential in the 8. And I love cross country too. And so he's like, all right, let's do 800 and mile and see where that takes us. And you'll do cross country. And I'm so glad I made that choice because I loved that group of girls that I was training with a lot. And so, yeah, I was primarily like 800 and mile or 1600.
So you graduated in 2023, and then you just automatically, I see that you jump into a 50K in 2023. So I'm just curious, what was the mindset there when you got out of school? Did you know that you wanted to try to run ultras, or was that just something that kind of happened?
It was very similar to my fall semester of my freshman year, where I was running alone. And I just had this like really overwhelming feeling that I wasn't done yet. And I don't really know where it came from, but I just kind of held on to it. And so it was actually on my way home from a meet, the fall of my final cross country season. So fall 2022, that we were on like a long bus ride home, maybe after my last cross country meet. I don't remember which one exactly, but I had this habit. I was student teaching at the time, so I had a habit of having like a running documentary or like a podcast or something on in the background while I was like doing homework, writing lesson plans. And eventually the Barkley marathons, the race that eats its young, worked its way into there. And I sent it to my teammate immediately. I said, "This is what's next. We need to do this." And of course, there were more that came after that, but it was just kind of the natural progression that I knew that is what needed to come next.
So you jump right into the Thunderbird. Did you do anything before this race? Did you sign up for like some half marathons or marathons, or did you just start training straight for this?
No, I really had no interest in road races. I still really don't have a ton of curiosity about them. I think it goes back to like, I love being out in the woods, like I was when I was a kid. A lot of my investigations in some of my studio classes, I was doing my BFA in drawing at the time as well. A lot of my investigations had to do with like my upbringing and like my dissatisfaction with like living in a city and surrounded by concrete, and a lot of the things around me felt really artificial. And so when I was out on a run, I felt like I was kind of escaping that or like spending time in my own head. But when I was out on trail, I felt even like more satisfied, and I was collecting these items from outside as part of my practice anyway. Um, but yeah, it was more about like the time outside and nature, and I think the curiosity of the longer distances and like a new kind of training and stopping for snacks, like that was a huge benefit. So yeah, I didn't really do, I mean, I trained probably closer to like marathon training, but I didn't do any road races.
I love it. I mean, that's good when you know what you want to do. Like you have your mindset on something, and sounds like Barkley is what caught your attention. So when you did your first 50K, obviously that was probably your longest distance you had ever ran at one time. And on a trail, that's a lot different than running, a 50K on road. It's going to be a little slower and a little harder. What was your first experience like?
It was, I think, like a true ultra experience, like in its purest form, because I had really high expectations of myself. I think everything went really smoothly until it didn't. And it was just like probably mile 26 or 27 that it was just darkness that hit me. Like I have never felt that since, the kind of like crushing, why am I doing this? This is horrible kind of feeling. And then lo and behold, I had half a banana and started walking, and then realized I had like 4 miles until I finished and I could jog that and be done.
Yep.
So it was ultra in its purest form. It was a lot of fun.
Man, and when you're in that moment, like for your first time, you're like in that moment. Like it's so bad. Like you're like, oh, this is way harder than I thought.
You start looking back at all them training runs, you're like, I should have ran more. I should have ran better.
I will never forget like my first real experience, and this might have been a 50K, but it was one of John Harden's races. It was a Cumberland Plateau stage race, and it was the first time like I actually tried to run really hard in a short distance, and I just had no reason to be running hard. And it was like I've never even told John this story. It just that you reminded me of it when you were talking about the banana, and you were talking about the treats. But it was like mile 24, 25. I'm running this race, and I get to an aid station. It was like an unmanned aid station, just a little makeshift station. She only had like 3 or 4 miles left after that. But he had nothing but like M&M's, it was like gummy bears, Sour Patch Kid. I mean, there was like everything there. And I just stopped for a minute, and I was in it. Like I was in it. Like I'm walking at this point. I'm just destroyed. I'd walk for like a mile, and I get there and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna sit here. And I stood there and ate gummy bears for like 5 minutes. And then I just left the aid station. And within like 10 minutes, all that sugar hit me.
Bam.
And I was like a new man. I was like, oh. And that's when I learned then, I was like, I gotta eat. But it was so funny because like it was like this little makeshift aid station, like just a, like unmanned aid station, but it was just full of candy. Like that's all it was candy. And I was just over eating away. And I was like, well, if I'm going to walk this thing out, I'm taking gummy bears with me. I'm like, it was so funny. It's interesting. Like the first time you do that, but it looks like it obviously didn't deter you, because looks like in Ashley fashion here, you just went straight from a 50K to a 100-miler. Or no, a 50 miler. 50 mile. Okay, I saw Oklahoma 100. I was like, oh, yeah, the outlaw. Still, like you did the 50K, you turn around and sign right up for a 50 miler in February. So that 50K was in November. So obviously you didn't suffer too bad to want to go ahead and sign up for a 50 miler. Why did you pick Oklahoma? Outlaw 100 in Oklahoma, which you did the 50-mile distance.
Yeah, we actually lived in Oklahoma the year after I graduated. So spring 23, I graduated. We got married. We moved to Oklahoma because Josh got a coaching job at Mustang High School for football. And he got a job at the high school, and I got a job at one of the elementary schools teaching art. That was my first teaching position. And as I do everything, I just walked right on to the track coaching staff, and cannot believe the year that we had there. The girls actually won the 6A state title, which was
wow, that is
an
awesome,
incredible, amazing, never will repeat again probably experience. That was really special. But yeah, that's where we were living, and it's not where we anticipated going or ending up permanently. Like Tennessee is really where we are happy to call home now. But yeah, it was just because they were local.
Now, how did you end up, before we go through any more races, and while we're already on the subject, how did you end up in Tennessee?
Football coaching once again. Josh, Josh, I think, did a coaching clinic with a coach out here, and the guy offered him a job. And so we said, okay, let's go.
I love it. Well, I mean, if football is what brought you here, that's great, because I mean, it's you're in a cool area with, all kinds of different trail races and race directors all around this region, which is really fun, and they're all really good people. Yep. Like we know most of the race directors now around here, and it's just really awesome. And we're learning about new ones every month now on this podcast, which is even more fun. So you picked a good spot.
We love it. We love the Smokies. We vacationed out here like before we lived out here, and we're like, this would be a really cool place to live someday. And lo and behold, here we are. So it's pretty great.
It's pretty great till you get 2 feet of snow, and then in summer you get 90% humidity. But other than that, it is really good.
How long have you been in Tennessee?
2 years now.
Okay,
awesome.
So she's got to experience all the weather.
Yeah. So how did the 50 miler go? Now, I will say, like, for people that are listening that have not done a 50 miler yet, 50K, you're just kind of like, you get to suffer for a few miles usually.
You can hang on.
50 milers, for your first 50 miler, you really suffer at some point in the last 5 to 10 miles, like, because it's one of those, like, I don't care what distance you do. It's like the last 5 to 10 miles. It's like you just want it to be over with, and it gets worse. But for some reason, I remember my first 50 miler. It was rough. So how was your first 50 miles?
Well, I'm sorry, but I am about to contradict everything you just said.
That's great. Please do.
It was, I think it still is one of the races that I compare other things to in terms of everything going right.
Well, that's perfect.
I felt really, really fit. I went out conservative, which is something I have a problem with sometimes. Like I'll go out too fast. But I went out conservative. I had a plan. I ate when I was supposed to eat. And I never hit that. Like I knew the darkness was coming. That's what I called it at the time from that 50K. I'm like, I know it's going to come. I'm prepared for it. And it never really came. It just,
Well, that's great.
Everything was smooth. Everything was pretty buttery. I mean, I got tired, but I never got that low. So it was a really fun experience. I loved getting to spend the whole day outside.
Well, that's awesome. You don't normally get many races where everything kind of clicks. So when you do, it makes it feel amazing.
Yep.
Then you go do your next race and something falls apart and you get mad because you don't understand what happened. So they're with you. But that's great. At least on your like first 50 miler, you had that happen for you, which probably, pushed you even more into wanting to race more. And you had a great finish. That's the thing I should mention on here too, for people that's actually not, ultra sign up stalking you like we are. Your Thunderbird trail run 50K, your very first one, you were first female, second overall.
Yep.
Oklahoma, or the Outlaw Oklahoma 50 miler, you were first overall.
Yep.
And then we're moving into a race. This must be when you moved to Tennessee. Georgia Jewel. We're very familiar with Georgia Jewel.
Yep.
I've done the 100 miler twice. Matt's done the 100 miler.
Yep.
At some point, I wouldn't mind doing the 50 miler, but
50
I don't know.
sounds way funner than the 100.
So when did you move to Tennessee? Like this race was in September.
Yeah, I think it was like late May or early June of that year that we moved.
Okay, so you got to experience some of the weather before you actually raced. Did Georgia Jewel go as smooth as the Oklahoma 50?
Certainly not. I was woefully undertrained because that summer I had been training in the Smokies and loving it, but I was also floating down the river every afternoon. Ice bath in the river there in Townsend. And unfortunately, I had gotten banged up on a rock and had bruised some ribs a few weeks before.
Man.
And had to take some time off and still just was not like really all put back together again. So it didn't go great, but I did get to race with a friend from college, one of my former teammates, and she had a great day. So that was more important to me. That made me really happy.
That's awesome. How'd you like the race, the course?
I liked it. I think I would have liked it more if I were having a better day. I think I ended up just death marching like the last probably 15 miles. And it started getting dark. I don't remember too much of it because I just kind of kept my head down and was just looking at rocks the whole time, unfortunately.
Yeah, death marching in the rock garden. I'm sure that was fun.
I think I death marched the last 40 miles.
I think I would go back. I would give it another try, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should at some point. It's fun. That's the thing that I love about this sport is you do a race and regardless of what kind of shape you're in, as long as you continue like training and pushing yourself and learning, it's fun years later to go back and run a race and run it an hour faster and not even feel like you ran it as hard as you tried to the first time, and that's what I love about the sport. It's one of those where it's, you're setting your personal best, and as long as you keep trying, you really can. And that's what's cool is that this sport, you actually get better as you get older, because you're just training those muscles and, it's awesome to see that. So, you should definitely try it in a few years, go back and see. I'm sure you can shave some time off of that now just based on where your fitness is at.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope so.
I watched you run the 100K. You ran the 100K and Firewater faster than you ran the 50 miler at Georgia, Jules. So obviously you're in much better shape now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I think I would try the 100 maybe, just to change it up and
Yeah.
suffer with everyone else.
Might as well. Suffering's better when you're on a race with friends.
Professed.
Speaking of suffering, your next race, Black Toe. It's a John Harden race. It's a good race. 24. You did the 24 hours. You got 75 miles there. I do know I don't remember exact elevation, but I do know that every 50 miles is 14,000 feet of elevation gain. So you roughly got 21,000 feet of elevation gain there. So it's you wouldn't think you would see that in a 5-mile loop course, but it has some decent climbs. So that was like your first 24-hour race, right? At this point?
Yeah, that
Was that
yes.
an experience in itself, or did everything kind of go as you planned?
I think we had a plan. I think I knew that there were going to be problems that came up that we weren't anticipating, which is like what always excites me about this, is like trying something new or a new course. Is like there's going to be problems that you don't quite anticipate. But it went well for the first few laps, and then things started to get really, really muddy and not runnable anymore. And there was like the slip and slide. There was like mud well past my shins. So yeah, that was unexpected fun until it wasn't.
How many times did you fall?
Maybe just not a lot, actually. Less than what I would have expected, but at least 2 or 3 times.
Was it in the mud, like the slip spot there towards like when you're going down that hill?
Believe it or not, I did not absolutely eat it on that part, but I thought I was going to.
Awesome. I bit it right there. I did not realize when it rained how slippery that was. It's crazy. It is a whole different type of slippery, Matt. Like it's crazy.
It's a mess.
Yeah, you really can't, and that's the problem with that's the challenge of the race. I shouldn't say the problem. That really is a challenge. It's like it's runnable until it rains, and it rains there almost every year, sometime later at night, and then it gets so cold and you can't run because it's so slippery. Is that kind of how it went for you?
That's exactly it. Yep. At the end, like someone told me, they were like, do you think the 100 is possible? And I was like, yeah, just take the right person on the right day and the right conditions. And they're like, oh, it's like this every year. And I was like, oh, well, maybe not possible for me then, because that was about all I had.
In a few years, though, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Never say never there.
So, would you go back to Black Toe and try it again in a few years?
Maybe. I think the advice that I got was, wait till 3 days before the race to sign up, just to see if the weather's going to be decent. I don't like operating like that, but for that one, I might have to break my rule.
Yeah, well, the thing about Tennessee is you never know if it's going to rain or not.
No,
so
yeah.
Even 3 days before. I mean, they were calling for 16 inches of snow yesterday, and today it's
slush.
Yeah, it's 1.
Yeah, slush and ice.
So who knows?
Who knows?
To this point, though, like you've done 50 Ks, 50 milers. You did the 24-hour, and you went 75 miles. Mm-hmm. Now, you've done, Camp Croft. Let me did the 50K. You did the Promised Land 50K. Oh, and I should say at Black Toe, don't let me sell you short here.
Don't skip over these.
She finished first overall in the 24-hour. Yep. Congratulations. Camp Croft, you were first female, second overall. Promised Land, you were third female. And then, we make our way to Firewater and Mad Backyard, which is your two most recent races. You did the 100K at the Firewater, and you did a great job. You paced yourself really well that day. I remember watching you come up the hill on the way out. I was taking pictures, and then you coming back. You looked great both ways. You did look like you had some suffering there in the middle. I do remember. But overall, you ran a really good race. You finished first female, second overall. And then your most recent one is Mad Backyard, where you just set the female course record,
Yep.
133 miles. And you were the third person standing. So, you were close, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, just from looking at your ultra sign up at this point, you're getting faster, you're getting fitter.
Yeah.
What do you think is helping you to start to improve? Because you're actually starting to, not that you weren't competitive before, because obviously you've been winning races since you started, but you're getting even more competitive now, and your numbers are getting bigger. And I mean, Mad was your very first 100 miles, period. And you went 133 miles. So you almost doubled, what your longest distance. What have you been working on? Like what's been your focus to get to where you're at now?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. That I'm getting faster. Sometimes it's just nice to hear. I guess I haven't changed my training terribly. I think I've just been adding volume. I've had, I guess in October, I had a week or about 6 weeks of like 70 miles, which in college I think 70 was like my max, like 1 week at the end of summer. So getting really cozy there. I think more experience on trails. I'm getting, I think, pretty good at some of the technical stuff. It's actually what I really like. And I think also just like seeking wisdom in as many places as I can for some of these events. I just read Laz's book, The Endurance Artist. I got to pace John Kelly this summer in his FKT attempt on the AT. And so like really throwing myself in there, exposing myself to as much of this world as possible, and like I guess like deep diving into my own brain in some ways to find the answers, or like find not necessarily the answers.
Just trying to find your way.
Yeah, just trying to figure out what this is about, figure out what to tell myself when things get hard. And yeah.
What's been your, like, to date, what has been your hardest race, like as far as the experience goes? And I know you kind of said the darkness. Some of us refer to it as the pain cave. But what has been like your hardest experience so far?
Probably Georgia Jewel.
Really? Okay, I love that. That's awesome. And that's probably because you weren't in shape the way that you wanted to be for that race, correct?
Yeah, I think I let myself get disappointed mid-race, and it's just really hard to pull yourself out of that when you kind of just decide that I think my best miles are behind me. I just gotta finish. Like I was like mile 30. It was so hot. I wanted to DNF. Josh was a good crew and wouldn't let me. But yeah, I think my attitude went up, and I did spend some miles like with some people that helped me have a better attitude about it by the time that I finished. Like I had kind of had some acceptance, but yeah, that was just a race that I was disappointed with myself during and after, and I don't really ever want to feel that again.
It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah,
and
it is.
And at some point, you experience your first DNF, and that's a terrible feeling. But it's one of those that those are the stepping stones to helping you build those blocks to get better, and like to this day, like, I mean, I get humbled at least once a year easily. I get humbled. And that's good because like no matter how good you think you get at doing something,
Yep.
one thing can go wrong. And if your mindset isn't strong enough to help you stay on track, then the entire thing can just collapse. And that's been a hard part for a lot of people is when things do go wrong, being prepared to work through those. And it's easy to just throw in the towel and say like, I'm just going to walk it out. But until you've like been humbled and you've had that bad experience, like then you're like, you start trying to figure out like, okay, if I eat this, maybe it'll help me. If I do this, it'll help me. If I just cool down for a minute, and that's the thing. That's what's so cool is like you just continue to learn. And the more people that you can surround yourself with in that community, like you were doing, helping with John Kelly on the AT, all that, you pick little things up and like you're finding your way. And like that's the experience of all of this is it's not, your performances are great and people are gonna like, oh, she's podium, but like at the end of the day, it's the people you meet, it's the things you learn. That's really what you're going to remember way more than that podium finish. And that's the things that really make this so fun. It's the community, it's the people. And I'm glad to hear you say that like you're just trying to like find your way through this whole experience, and like learn as much as you can about it, because that's truly what we've all done. Some people start picking up on it faster than others. And, that's kind of fun to see too. Like you've jumped right into it and had some success.
Yep.
And that is cool because now you can build upon that success. And, I mean, to do what you've already done, like don't ever downsell yourself because you ran 100 miles in 24 hours. You know how many people still haven't done that want to do that?
A lot.
That is impressive for your very first 100 miler. So like anytime that you ever feel like a race is going bad, just to understand some races are going to go bad. They suck.
Yeah.
It still happens. But to look at your times though, like you did the Firewater 100K in less than 12 hours. And you go all the way back to, well, I should say all the way back. You go back 2 years, like 2024. That was your 50 miler time. You ran an additional 12 miles past that and finished, in the same hour. So that shows that you're getting better at it and you're getting faster. Have you worked on nutrition?
I will say, I think I've learned that I just need to eat more during races. I have already had a pretty strong stomach, I think, but I just don't think I was eating enough, truly. And so Mad Backyard, I was like really adamant, like I'm going to put food in my mouth every single lap. Like it doesn't matter if it's just like a snack. We did like a proper meal every 4 hours, and that was like really impressive. I'm still just tweaking things and trying to figure out what works for my body. But I'd say just eating more has been like the number one thing that's helped me.
You've learned it this quick already. So a lot of people haven't, can't figure that out for a few years. So that's cool because food is, you live and die by what your calories are. And it's kind of one of the most important ingredients you can do. So what was your strategy for Mad? I mean, you had a really good day there.
Yep.
More than a day, I guess I should say. But what was your strategy? Kind of walk us through it because you did great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Strategy was more or less like run, eat, body work, rinse and repeat, I was so excited whenever we took off or like the first bell rang and we left and we just started by walking. I was smiling so hard because I was like, this is awesome. I can do this all day. But I quickly realized, like, I think it was lap one, I realized that if I have to do this all by myself all day long, I'm going to suffer. So I was like, all right, you got to make a friend. Don't be weird. You can be weird after like lap 30. But just, yeah, don't be weird. And so, yeah, strategy was really just take it out as easy as possible for as long as possible. Try to spend some laps with some people. Eat every single lap. Proper meal every 4 hours. I think I ate like 3 or 4 hot dogs during the whole race. Josh made some really good mac and cheese with bacon in it. I had my classic burrito. What else? What else did he feed me? I had a chai latte that changed my life at some point in the night, and it was so good. Some coffee. But yeah, I think as the event went on, my strategy was less about myself and more about the people I was with, because I was around people that had done that event before and had really important, like personally meaningful goals to them. And like, I'm a track and cross country coach. So when kids have big goals, those are my goals too. And so when someone else has a goal near me, I'm like, okay, let's get you there. Let's do it. And so when I think my strategy turned to like, I have a job to do. I'm going to get this guy to 50 miles and I'm going to get this guy to 100 miles. And then after that, we'll just evaluate and see how I feel and just keep going.
Love it.
Yeah.
What, as far as like your hydration and stuff, did you stick to water, or did you stick with electrolytes, or did you have a certain fluid that you prefer, like a powder?
I drank a lot of water. I drank a little bit of Coke here and there with like my meals. But the like electrolyte drink that I use is Noon. I think it's what it's called, or None.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one that has worked really well for me. I like that it's a little fizzy. I'm curious about other things because I know it'd probably be smart to do something that has actual calories in it too, but I just haven't really branched out to that yet.
It's whatever you prefer. My fiance runs with only water, and she eats mostly like gels and chews and stuff like that. So as long as you're managing your calories, it doesn't really matter on the water piece, like unless you need a lot of sodium, like if you sweat a lot and you need electrolytes, you can still, even then though, you can get electrolytes with no calories like Noon.
Yeah.
So it's whatever your stomach handles the best. And it sounds like your stomach's handling exactly what you're doing. So not sure I would try to fix anything at this point. But might be something you want to toy with at some point as you start pushing and getting faster and faster. You may require more and more calories. I don't know.
Did you use Noon at Firewater as well?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing really since college.
Yeah, and Firewater was the same. Like, you had a couple of moments where you looked like you were ready for it to be over, but everybody has that in a 50-mile or longer race.
Yeah.
So, but it looked like you kept it together pretty well. I mean, when you were running through the finish line, you were smiling like you were doing great. So you're obviously on the right track of, getting very competitive in these longer distances, which I think is really cool, and no longer than you've already been doing ultras. But at the same time, I see that you're still like challenging yourself, because I see a race on here that you've already signed up for, which is the Barkley Fall Classic. So, we come full circle back to Laz, who got you kind of interested in this when you were listening to the podcast, or watching was you watching the movie or listening to a podcast when you heard Laz talking in the beginning?
It was that classic, like, whatever it was, 2012 documentary. Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's funny, as many people as we've had on this podcast, it's very rare that we hear someone talking about Laz as the reason they got into running.
Yeah.
Almost 80% of the time, it's David Goggins, can't hurt me. That's where we're at. And I'm just like, oh, well, we all don't have to be angry and scream.
I simply cannot stay hard. No hate to David Goggins or his fans. It's just, I can't.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations for getting into Barkley Fall
Yeah.
Classic. I think you're going to absolutely love that.
Yes.
I did it once. I don't know if I'll ever do it again because I'm not very good at navigation. So it was all I could do to run the right direction. But I had fun, enjoyed it. It was really cool. And who knows, I might do it again at some point, but I got to learn how to navigate way better because they still don't mark that course either.
Yeah. I've done a pilgrimage or two out to Frozen Head and have run trails out there. So I feel decently comfortable with the on trail stuff. I know there's a few parts that are like power line cuts. Do you have any tips or tricks that I guess you probably can't reveal everything, but
No, and the problem is he changes the course every year. So really there's not much you can plan on. And that's what's so fun about it. And that's why people keep coming back is like every year it's a different race. It truly is. Like you go that day and you get the map and you're looking at it and it's like, okay, well here we go.
Yeah.
Because that year we did it, I think we went up Rat Jaw. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 times. I don't really remember. But I just remember the last time I was cramping so bad I had to sit down on Rat Jaw and like hold branches because both calves were cramping. Then my forearm started cramping. And then I had to let go and I'm like sliding down the hill and I'm like, oh hell no, we're not going back down the hill. So I like found the thing to put my foot on while my calf was cramping. And I finally downed some electrolytes and got everything under control and I was able to finish the race. But I was like, this sucks. Like it was crazy because it was just pouring down rain too. So testicle spectacle, which is what they call it. It was raining so bad. There was this couple. It was so funny. So funny. I think Rick Bose is the one that recorded this. It was on his Facebook, but this couple they're trying to go down the hill together and they both start sliding apart and they're like screaming for each other and they're just sliding apart and they both go off into a ditch on each side of the course and they can't get back over there because and Rick's just recording all of it and they're like screaming and they're like trying to grab each other and we're just sitting there dying laughing because we're doing the exact same thing. Like we're all just falling down this hill. But it is so fun. Like you'll meet so many cool people. And just that race, it's kind of nostalgic to get to do it. And then you run through Brushy Mountain. You actually run, under the bridge through the tunnel. And that's really fun. You climb a ladder over the wall of Brushy Mountain. So, I mean, it's going to be a cool experience. You're absolutely going to love it. I mean, you're going to love it. You can't run with a watch or anything. That's the crappy part is like, you don't really know how many miles you've even ran, but it's so fun and you'll meet cool people. And, at the end, when you get to Croy, it's really cool too. So hopefully you get to Croy.
I hope so. I'm excited. That makes me even more excited.
Yeah, definitely buy cheap gloves.
Yeah.
Because you will have to pull there are sawbriars that you're going to have to grab going up Rat Jaw.
Yep.
I didn't take gloves. I was bleeding. My hands were bleeding everywhere because everybody said that. I was like, I'll be fine. No, take like cut-proof gloves so that you can make it up there. And if you lose them, you lose them because just buy a cheap pair, but definitely take gloves. That would be my only advice I'll give you is definitely take gloves.
Thank you. Noted.
Well, I mean, you got to run with Cal, the one that got the assist at Mad, and he was one of the 20 that finished this year on the 50K. So, I mean, if you got any questions, I think Cal would be a really good one to ask.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him. We actually talked about that like really briefly, either at the very end. I don't remember. It's a little foggy. But I think he mentioned that and I was like, oh, I'll be there. And he's like, I'll see you. So I think he's running again. So
yeah, I think we got quite a few team members going to run it this year.
So I will say this. It's a 50K. Plan for 50 miles. No, seriously, like when you are thinking nutrition, think about it that way because it really is way longer than a 50K.
Yeah.
So I didn't really realize that. By the end, I was almost out of everything. If I ever do that race again, I will treat it like it's a 50-mile race because you're basically going to be out there 10, 12, 13 hours, plan on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at the finishing times and yeah, it just takes that long.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of naive when I ran it. I was like, 6 gels. I'm good. It's good. Nope. But it's fun. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna see some cool people. I think Whitney is doing it again. So Whitney Dancaster will be back out there. She just recently moved to Chattanooga. So
Yep.
But she did it last year.
Yep.
I think she did it last year. So
yeah, her and Jamie both did.
Yeah,
it.
a lot of people took the marathon finish because it was so hard last year.
Yep.
But at least you have that option if you need it.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
And this, maybe it's the Barkley Fall Classic, but what is the big race for 2026? Or do you have one yet? It's the Fall Classic.
It is the Fall Classic. So my schedule, I haven't registered for everything, but I've registered for a few. I just don't think they've gone through quite yet, or I don't know how Ultra Sign Up 100% works, but I know
they don't have the entrance available for everybody to see. So you may have signed up for 5 races, but the entrants aren't available.
Yeah, I think that's the situation. So I've got Naked Mountain Ultra in March. That's a 50 miler. And then I'm toying with 100 in May after school is over. And then this summer, I'm looking to try possibly a SCAR FKT attempt. And then, it's going to be 100% Fall Classic. That's our A race. And then maybe something in November. So
we know a backyard ultra in November.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Which one?
Ours, Barn Creek.
I like the backyard format a lot. I'm really excited for whenever my next one is.
Yeah, I think I was telling Mary this earlier, and then John Harden reminded me because he listened to our podcast, the Christmas podcast. So he emailed me, or maybe he texted me. And I say this because you were talking about a race in November. I wanted to go back and do Pinhoti 100.
Yeah.
I twisted my ankle at mile 1 and only made it to mile 57. So I didn't finish it. It was a big DNF for me.
But you did 56 miles on a twisted ankle?
Oh, it was bad.
It looked rough.
That's impressive.
Well, it was stupid because I didn't get to train then for 2 months. That's how bad it was. It was you can ask Matt, it was huge. It was terrible. I should not have done it. It was dumb. But it's one of those things, I say this, we all want to be we don't want to DNF. We want to be tough. We can do it. We can suck it up. But sometimes that's stupid. And I was stupid. I should have stopped, but it's okay.
Okay to learn things the hard way.
Right. Kind of like how I ended up with rhabdo. But that's a whole nother story. But John Harden had texted me, and he's like, hey, I heard your goals for 2026. Don't forget we're doing an FKT in December. So, John Harden, I say that because I know you're going to listen to this. We are doing the FKT in December, but now I can't run Pinhoti 100 in November because we're doing the FKT. So, it's fine. Unless it's going to be late December, then maybe I can work it. But, that's another one too. If you've never looked at it, Pinhoti 100 is a really good race, and it's not too far from here. So it's 100 miles on the Pinhoti, which is really fun. But there's a lot of good races around the November, December timeframes. Definitely, I don't know what distance you're wanting to do, but you'll probably be in pretty good shape after Barkley, because you're going to have there's a lot of elevation in the Barkley Fall Classic. There's a lot. So you'll be in good shape for doing a mountain or a big trail race. Something to think about, because November is usually decent weather around here.
Yeah, that's the hope. I think Pinhoti's on my spreadsheet. I think it's one of 3 options that I'm weighing for that November 1st weekend.
And it's a Western States qualifier.
I know.
Good. And then there's a couple of really tough races in North Carolina too. Gentleman we had on there, but he's got the Beast of the East. It's the early December, and then another really hard race that's in December. is Blood Rock.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest 100-miler I've ever done. It's 22,000 feet elevation gain in Alabama, and it's also one of the coolest buckles I have too, though.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll look into that one.
Yeah, it's and it's the same people that put on the Southern States 200, the same race directors. It's David Tosh.
Yep.
He's a really good race director. He's very old school. He's a good guy. He's got some good races, but it's a gnarly race. It's I will not say that it's easy by no means. Several people that have tried it every year and have yet to finish the 100. They drop down to the 50-miler.
That's scary.
He
Yeah.
does his laps, and then he texts me, and Mike said, "I'm not going to be home. Somebody's got to get my daughter."
Man.
Yeah. You're talking about like this is the year I've done a bunch of 100-milers, and I'm running 100-milers in 21, 22 hours, like trail races. And I think Blood Rock, I'm like, I'll be done in 24 hours. So he's changed the course again. It's now 2 50-mile loops, which is, I think, is what he's changed it to, which is cool. When I ran it, it was 3 34-ish mile loops. It took me 10 hours to do the first loop.
Of the 34-mile loop?
Yes. And I knew it was only going to get worse from there. And I just called Mike and Matt, or I might have texted them, and I said, guys, I'm not going to be home till like Sunday night. So someone's going to have to pick up my daughter. And then I just left and I went back out there.
And then we hear nothing. We get nothing for all day. And we're like, is he alive? Is he finished? He quit? What is he doing?
And you're like, am I just legal guardian now? What's happening?
Right. Actually, here's what's crazy. Carl Meltzer showed up for the race. So he won. He was first, and he did it in like 26 hours. Second place was 28 hours. And then I was third place in 30 hours.
Wow.
And the cutoff is 44 hours.
Oh, man. So
And that's how hard the race is.
How many people finished?
Not many.
Oh, man.
They
Wow,
have
brutal.
more DNF, I think, than they do finish. But it's a hard race. Like, I mean, it's people say that it's like, he wanted to make it a hard rock qualifier. That's why he made the race. And it's, they say it's like hard like that. I don't know, because I've never ran hard rock, but it is by far the hardest 100 I've ever ran. And, I'm ignorant because I don't read race descriptions. I'm like, oh, I look at the elevation. I'm like, okay. One guy had commented on our Dirt and Vert group and said, oh, that rope climb is going to be interesting 3 times in a row. I've only ever done the 50. I said, what rope climb? He's like, oh, you didn't read the race description, did you? I'm like, no. There's rope climb all the way up a mountain because the mountain's so steep, you have to use ropes to pull yourself up. And I had no idea that any of that was there. So it was cool. It was a learning experience, but it was fun. It's a hard race. But by far one of my favorite buckles, though, is a really cool buckle. I'll have to send you a picture of the buckle because the buckle's what sold me. That's why I signed up for the race. But, yeah. But Pinhoti is such a fun race too, though. Like it truly is. So if you put that one on your bucket list and you do it, you will not regret it. It's a hard race, but it is fun and it's a well put on race. So you'll enjoy it really well. Yeah. And I think they usually sell out. There's usually like 300 people in that race. Yeah. It's a big race. But it'll be like Barkley Fall Classic. I think you get to run with like 500 of your closest friends in that race.
Yeah, we'll all be like conga line up there. Oh boy.
You gotta start fast with that one.
I can do that. I used to be a sprinter,
There you go.
I'll use my old skills.
Now, does your husband run?
He does. Yeah, he did Camp Croft with me last spring. And he's done a road marathon. But yeah, he's very, very good at crewing. And it's convenient because he coaches football in the fall and I coach track in the spring. And so we each have like kind of our own off seasons. So in his off season, he's training a little more. He'll run with me more in the spring. And then in summer and fall, I'll be able to get more training in.
Like when I came down to Mad that evening, and it looked like y'all were doing a really good job of every time you came in, he had your stuff ready.
He's really, really good at it. He knows when to be kind. He knows when I'm being a baby and he needs to be a little firmer with me. I have a tendency to do that at some points, but yeah, handled every logistical need really, really well. The format of the backyard like worked really well for us because I could communicate what I needed and he got it and we got back out. And then it got to a point where I was anticipating like, hey, on the next one, I'm going to want to put my feet up or whatever. And he had it ready. It was awesome. I think he made some friends too, which was really cool. So at the end, like he debriefed his day and I debriefed my day. And we had some pretty cool stories to share between the two of us.
Well, that's awesome.
Cool.
What finally got you? Did you time out or did you just stop?
I really just didn't want to ride the roller coaster downhill again. It's tough to say like if I gave it everything because I think the allure of being done, like when I started my last lap, I knew it would be my last lap. And so that gave me a little boost. So who knows if I could have done more or if I would have just, timed out after that. But I just had like so much positive emotion, like everything had accumulated from the day and night into like one really joyous morning. And I was like, I just don't want to ride it downhill again. Like I've got the women's record. I'm satisfied with that. If there's more, then I'll discover it another day. Like I'm just really pleased with my day. So
well, that's awesome. So you don't have the wonder of like, I wonder if I could have went 3 more laps.
I do wonder, but I don't regret it. I think I'm okay with discovering that another day.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I think Josh should put on there because he was keeping everybody updated on social media. Pretty good. I mean, like when I was trying to figure out if the race was still going, I was going to your page, like because he's posting, and then he had put that he believed that when you came back after that the record that you were going to be done, and then he posted the video of you not going back out, but he did a good job of keeping everybody updated.
He did. I watched it after and I was really impressed. And part of his debrief is he was like, you have no idea how many people were watching from home. Like people were texting me that like I haven't heard from in like since high school. And they're like, how's Ashley doing? I'm like, that's amazing and humbling. Like, wow, it was really cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. The cool thing about it is the more that he does that, the more people are going to keep track of you and continue to follow you. And that's what's really fun. And, who knows, you might see a 200 in front of these numbers here soon. So let me ask you, we're getting an hour in now, so we'll switch over to questions here in just a minute, but I want to ask you a question that we ask every listener on this podcast. And that is why? What motivates you and keeps you doing this? Like, why do you run?
As far as why I run, I think it's just something that I have to do, which isn't a very good answer. Because running is something I do. It's not necessarily who I am, but it is something I just have to do, I think, every day to keep me on track with who I want to be. As far as why I race, I think that goal has always been back to like Laz's race, to his kind of challenge of like how far can a human go? How far can we like push ourselves, or like even in the face of like impossibility? I think like the curiosity of it all is really what drives me to like seek these races and new challenges. But as far as why I run, it's what I have to do.
So you say it's what you have to do because it's who you want to be. Well, who do you want to be?
I think I'm still figuring that out. I kind of like struggled with like the social media side of this stuff, and I struggled with this like with my art thesis and stuff, like I didn't think I had like really a story to tell. I don't have like any kind of real darkness in my past, or like, I don't know, like even like super specific goals, I suppose. But um, I think like I don't necessarily run because of a story. I think I'm running to find the story, if that makes sense.
I mean, you're creating your story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to create your own journey, create your story, and push yourself to find your limits, which is awesome. Like, I mean, that's the thing, is like you're exploring and learning, and without doing any of that, we don't know what we can do. It's kind of refreshing to hear you say, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's kind of refreshing to hear you say that you struggle with social media, because that's not a bad thing. Like, I mean, that's not why we run,
No.
you know? And I eventually you won't struggle with social media, because you'll know the story you want to share. You'll know the story you want to tell. And I think at some point, for the most part, most of us do struggle with social media. Like we're all trying to tell a story. What story do we want to tell? Some people have it figured out, some don't. So don't get caught up in that too much. Like that's not, that shouldn't ever be, like, for everybody that's listening, that shouldn't be it. Like I've went through a phase, and Matt says something to me on occasion. I haven't shared a race in, I don't know, at least a year, probably.
A long time.
Because Matt will say, "Yeah, I wish you would post something, because you don't ever give me any pictures to share."
I got nothing to share for the team. I'm like, I need some stuff. I need some content.
And to me, like, at some point, I'll stop and I'll start sharing that stuff again. But I don't know why. I kind of got burnt out on social media.
Agreed.
I think it's because we do so much with the podcast. We do so much with East Coast Adventures. And then, we started a company, and like, all that is social media. All that is planning.
Yep.
And I just got really burnt out on it. So like, I didn't share anything. I mean, it's fine.
But if the podcast is like your passion, and like everything else is your passion, like that feels real, that feels tangible, and you're like having a conversation with me right now and with other really cool people, like that is sure social media, but like
absolutely.
It's real, it's tangible. And it's just, I struggle with like the not realness of it. Like I go out on the trail and my feet on the ground are real. Like I breathe in the air and I'm seeing those views and I'm like, this is real. And a picture of it or talking about it almost just doesn't do it justice. And it's like your favorite food. You want everyone to try it, but like you post a picture of it, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But you know what? I think you just found your story.
Maybe. I'm still working on it.
That was really good. Like, that is so true. And that is what people want to hear. Why you do it. That's all you gotta do. And like, I know that sounds crazy, but like, you just explained it perfectly. And if you really want to tell your story and you want to do that, that's how you do it. Show people what you see.
Yep.
And for me, I just literally got burned out. Like, doing the podcast, doing all this, it's fun. It's the social part that I enjoy. The social media part I haven't enjoyed for a while. So I just decided I wasn't going to do it, so that hopefully I can find the passion for it again one day.
Yeah. Well,
but listening to you talk, like, I could hear the joy as you were telling us that. And I'm sure Matt saw it too. Like, that's your story. Like, that's how you do it. And well said. And if you go back and listen to this podcast, you're going to be like, oh, I hear it.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably just blacked out a little bit right there. But yeah, I'll go back and listen.
But yeah, and thank you for sharing that. Like, I think that's good for people to hear, is like, you kind of struggle with that stuff, because I know a lot of people that struggle with that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now we'll get real and let Matt ask you some listener questions.
Yeah, we got a few listener
Mr.
questions.
Williams, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. The first one is, how do you choose the events that you run?
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I go first, I think, based on distance. I think about what distance I want to run, and then I kind of think about if I want fast or flat, if I want something mountainous. Usually it's something mountainous. And then I'll think about like time of year. Like, I guess I'll look for like races in that range, and then I usually narrow it by location. And then if I'm really honest, it usually comes down to price because I am a public school teacher. And so, and I only have like, we're using a lot of resources to do what we do and do it so many times a year. So that usually narrows it down to a couple. And after that, I'll usually just kind of look at the descriptions and look at some race reports and pick one.
Speaking of that, what is your favorite distance right now?
I'll be honest, I'm still kind of riding the high of the backyard. I really, really like that format.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just might be hooked.
Yep. All right. The next one is, what has been your favorite race that you've done?
Before Mad Backyard, I think I don't know if it's just the high of it still that I'm on, but that one's probably a favorite. But Promised Land 50K is a favorite because of how beautiful that course is and also how cool Dr. Horton is and the like whole community around his races and his events. It was a really cool thing to be a part of. I think I would actually like to go back this year, maybe just as a tune-up for my May race, but it's definitely one to go to.
That's awesome. Yeah. He's a cool guy. He has such a history in this sport. It's really, really cool.
All right. The next one is, what is one food that you couldn't do without during a race?
Hot dogs.
Burritos.
It's been burritos lately. I was torn between burritos and candy, but I think burritos is closer to food than the candy was. The hot dogs went down very easily though this last time though. That might be a new staple.
How did you get started on burritos?
I think it was just something I was meal prepping pretty frequently at the time. And they're just really easy, really portable. I'll make them like the week of the race and then freeze them. And then they're really easy to warm up over the fire. So I don't know, just the convenience, I guess. And I put quinoa in them. They're like quinoa and bean. Yeah, they're good.
Good carbs.
All right. What is one piece of gear that you couldn't do without?
Shoes. My Solomon Sense Ride 5s that are probably about to bite the dust. They're pretty old and crusty at this point. I'm not attached to a particular shoe, but shoes are pretty important gear.
Absolutely. Especially if you're doing a long distance.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What'd you run the Barn Creek in? I'm sorry, Barn Creek. What'd you run the backyard in?
Believe it or not, I actually ran those in a pair of Brooks that I got from outside of our track shed at school that I think a middle schooler had abandoned, and they were brand new and nobody claimed them for days. They sat out there in the rain, and I like tried to give them to our high school kids and they didn't fit anybody. And so finally I was like, well, I guess I'll try them on. And I tried them on and they fit, and I've been running in them ever since. And so that was the race shoe, was the middle school boy shoe.
It's like a Cinderella story.
Perfect fit. Those shoes were meant for 133.
That's right.
They had no idea when they were purchased by that 12-year-old boy's mom, I'm sure.
That's hilarious.
All right. My last question is, what is your favorite song on the Bark list?
Oh, the Bark list. My dear friend Shelby Palmer and I have a Barkley Marathons 2030 playlist. It's on Spotify. It's got a few saves, so go look for it, save it. But as always, my go-to song is Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Oh man, that's an old one. I just heard that.
It brings me up every time. I ride into school listening to that. I ride out of school listening to that sometimes. It'll bring me right up on the trail.
I think that was like their only good song too. But it was good.
I don't know if I've ever
It does
heard
the
this
job.
song.
Really?
I don't think
Oh,
I have.
You have.
I'll let you hear
You
it.
definitely have.
I just
Yeah.
don't know the name of it then.
I guarantee you've heard it.
Maybe.
Well, Ashley, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. You guys answered my questions about Fall Classic. And you've suggested a lot of good races for the fall.
We know many more, so if you need more, we can always give you more races. There's plenty.
I'm always open to more.
See, there you go.
I'll have to check out some of y'all's races too.
Yeah, please come join us.
Start writing down the list. Yeah.
Cherokee would be a good one for training for Barkley Fall Classic.
She's a mountain racer, and that's right up your alley.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's a 70K and 130K, but we also have it's like
Wacheezy
the
Challenge,
Wacheezy Challenge, which is shorter, but 70K, it's 10,000 feet elevation gain, 40-ish miles. So something you can think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you so much for taking the time to join us and share your story, Ashley, and truly appreciate you coming on. And just, it's really cool to see that you've been running for, you've been running for a while, but like to get into ultras and have the success you've already had is really cool to see. So I got a feeling you're going to make it really far in this sport. Can't wait to see what all you accomplished. And thank you. I'm sure we'll have you on here again in the future.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the opportunity. This was fun.
Thank you. Talk to you later. See you, Ashley.
Bye.